Today's guest moves with action rather than overthinking. He appreciates the simple things and stays true to his roots, and is generally proud to be called himself a Scouser. But before we get into this, I want to say a huge thank you to Parliament Square Coffee for allowing us to film. But anyway, let's get into this.
Yeah.
So you ready to go?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So, as I've just said there, you're proud to be a Scouser. From our conversations and the way you carry yourself, it's clear that you really embody the identity and say it with pride. Why do you think it means so much to you?
I think for me, because my mum and dad are both not from the city, so it's like they've obviously both found something in Liverpool to have, to stay here. I mean, obviously my dad's from Zimbabwe, my mum's from Suffolk, and my dad grew up supporting Liverpool in Zimbabwe anyway, and obviously settled in Liverpool, and I've lived there my entire life. And as much as I'll never forget, I always be proud of my roots from my dad and all that, and obviously where my mum's from and that. It's just Liverpool's the only place I've ever really called home in 21 years of living here, and it's just kind of such a different place than everywhere else, especially in the UK. It's just kind of got some it's being from Liverpool, I'd say, is some sort of massive inside joke. Do you know do you get it? It's quite weird. But every place is special for their own reasons. But there's just something about Liverpool which is just quite it really is just a unique place. And I feel a lot of people are, not just proud to be from Liverpool and not just proud to be a Scouser, but they kind of there's a lot of people in the city that I don't think they actually understand or get it, what it actually kind of, how heavy it is actually being from here. Do you know what I mean? It's quite...
What do you think? Why do you think people really, I think everybody does who's born from the city, we embody it as a part of our personality in a way?
Yeah, you don't really get that with people from other cities, really. You don't really get...
And you're probably best to ask as well, because you've been all over.
It's crazy, right? Because if you and your mate are doing something and your mate does something heavy, you go, oh, that's Scouse that. Do you know what I mean? It just works. But you don't hear Manx going, oh, that's Mank that.
Yeah.
Or Geordie's going, oh, that's so Geordie. You don't, you know what I mean? In that kind of way, you don't really get it. It's only, oh, that's Scouse that.
Well, we even say we've got our own language in a way.
Yeah,
where
definitely.
You'd say okay, if they're a Geordie or from Manchester, it's they've got an accent.
Yeah.
But we have our own language in a way, where people come and you see it in the footy, people always bring up what does these words mean?
Yeah.
It's we've got our own language.
I've got a lot of mates who came to uni in Liverpool that are from outside the city and that, and it took them a while to get used to some of the stuff I was saying, because it was just a case of lost in translation.
Well, you wouldn't normally think.
But I wouldn't think that, no.
Where'd you mate from here? It's just what comes
exactly.
out, isn't it? But then you I always do, if you speak to someone from a different country, you change your tone of how you speak for some reason.
When I was in Zimbabwe in 2024, I'd really struggled to speak to people there because one, I don't speak the local Zimbabwean languages, so I never really had to.
Yeah.
But it's because obviously they speak English out there, but because I'm just so different in how what English they've probably heard, it's just I really had to lose my accent and lose my speech in a sense of not speech, but a lot of the words I said, because it just didn't make sense to people.
Yeah.
And that was it took me quite a while to slowly kind of grasp that fact. The only people that really got me were some family members, because obviously speaking to them over the phone and that.
Yeah.
But whenever I was just out and about and just in the shop, can I have that that sugar or something or whatever?
Yeah.
I'd have to really kind of change a lot about me. Really, do you know? It's mad.
Well, it's all the mannerisms.
Yeah,
of how
exactly.
You even just present yourself to them, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a mad one. And a lot of the times, my dad would just tell me just not to speak because
Don't speak.
genuinely right. Yeah. Because we went to Victoria Falls one day, and you have to pay a different rate. So tourists get a different rate to locals. So obviously I've got my Zimbabwean passport, so I just gave them that, and then they just was saying my dad was just listen, just don't speak, because they'll realise that you either live in the UK or you're from there.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit oof, okay, sad. So they'd be asking me all these questions, and I just kind of stand there a bit awkwardly. My dad would answer for me perfectly, and then like he'd be like, "Oh, he's just mute." You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm just gonna pretend that I'm just mute. I've just got no ability to speak whatsoever. But like, you know, it's just one of them. Like having to just get used to stuff like that. I just, you know,
it's a little funny thing.
yeah, exactly. But it's just, you know, but I was trying to think stuff like I am just getting me identity a little bit like stripped away from me, but not like not in a bad way.
Right,
It was,
yeah.
you know,
Just for a different experience.
just for the different,
isn't it?
just for the whole sake of being able to understand like everyone else.
Yeah,
I guess
other
what I mean.
culture.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think this city has had a big part to play in your character as a person?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Most likely, yeah.
In what way do you think? Like, what do you think? Is there anything most? Because, like, I think, like, we're very strong community, togetherness. I think loads of people stand up for what they think's right. And we all come together when you see it's needed. What do you think about you? What do you think it's personally added to you?
I mean, the only way I can really elaborate on that is because I'll go into like a lot of my cousins that don't live in Liverpool and like live in other cities like Leicester, Birmingham, and obviously like I love them, they're my family, but we're so different in terms of like just how we present ourselves, how we dress, obviously how we speak, what our interests are, you know, what we do on a day-to-day basis. It's just so like it's so different. And you know, when I go see them and they come up to Liverpool, whatever, and we see each other, like obviously like it's good vibes and that, but it's so obvious that like when I go there, like it's so obvious that like I'm just not from about. And when they come up here, it's so obvious that they're not from round about here. Then I think in that sense, it has shaped who I am. I guess like, I can say it probably shaped who you are as well, because you know we're like, you know, it's the just even in day-to-day life, just normal, genuine, normal life. Like it's just the road you walk, you know, the buses you catch, the streets you drive down, you know,
I think
the coffee shop you go to.
I feel like you get a confidence anywhere you go with it as well, because like you brought up speaking to everybody, saying hello to people and that. It's not like other places where you walk past people, don't even show emotion or like say hello or like just let on, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Especially when you see a Scouser from like outside of like the country, let alone outside Liverpool.
Your mate,
exactly.
Aren't you?
Like obviously it was in Japan. Liverpool played the pre-season there, but I was in Japan like a good 3 weeks before Liverpool even kicked the ball for pre-season. And I still bumped into some Scousers at some like local footy match, and it's a bit like, wow, what are you doing here? Like, oh, what is it? And it's just buzzing off each other. You don't even know them. Like,
but then you become mates for that little trip. Now I think another huge thing that obviously this city gives people, and I think you have it a lot, is passion. How important do you think passion is?
I think having passion's obviously like you need it to get through in life, because I feel like if you don't have passion, if you don't have that fire in you to do anything, you're gonna fall behind in a lot of ways. And you know, the thing is about passion is that passion can die, so you can't solely rely on passion. But one thing that passion does have is, you know, if many people can come together with a passion, you know, it creates some sort of spirit. And even if your passion dies out, if someone else has stood there and they've got it, it wears off on you and you regain it. And I think that's what Liverpool has a lot of. Just in the people, in the, you know, just in the environments, just in terms of just as again, just in normal day-to-day life, I just feel like people in Liverpool have something deep like within them, which just, you know, I feel like the people of this city, especially the older generation, have seen such bad times, you know, in the city, and because of that, they've got like this sort of resilience and like this drive to just make everything better and be better, and again that passion to make the local community feel homely. It's a special kind of like thing and stuff, just feeling that you don't really grasp until you do go somewhere else, or you do kind of travel a little bit. Like obviously you go to all these other places around the world and, you know, communities have that same kind of feeling. But I feel like in this country, especially in the UK, it's a country built on being a bit self-defeatist. You know, all of our comedies on TV are like, you know, like let's look at the in-betweeners. Like the in-betweeners is based off 4 lads who always fail. And that's the humour in it, because
Interesting. Yeah.
it's just like British comedy is the art of failure, or laughing at yourself while failing.
Yeah.
Whereas I think in Liverpool it's a bit different, where it's like we don't want to fail. We've seen the bad times.
Yeah.
We've seen, like, as a city, maybe not myself personally, but you know.
Well, we try and make change, don't
Yeah,
we?
exactly.
We try and like fix stuff that's been negative or stuff that's happened, and we try and change a mold, don't we? We're never like, we don't give up, do we?
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
there's no giving up. But like, that's a really good point. I didn't even think of that, because it is, isn't it? It's like, we actually make fun out of our own like failures or mistakes as a country. Yeah, it's interesting. Where like in America, people are like, they're buzzing, aren't they?
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
proud to like.
In America, it's like there's always a win. Somewhere in the story, there's always a win. It always ends on a win.
Yeah.
You know, like Superbad. If you watch that movie, yeah, like it ends on a win.
Yeah.
You know, Fogel goes and shoots all them bottles with the police officers.
Yeah.
I can't remember the other 2 characters' names now, but they get with the birds that they wanted to get with, or whatever. Like in between us.
Yeah. Even though it's like a story that doesn't actually like mean much,
anything.
when you do deeper and you think on another level, like what it's trying to attract or what the story is showing in the grand scheme, it does. It's very negative. This country.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to be fair, even like in the sense, like a lot of the media as well, like it thrives on failure.
Yeah, and
it thrives on failure. Yeah,
I think people are though. I think our city is a bit more. When you want to do something, they're supportive. Maybe like coming away from this city, maybe they are supportive, but then they love to see us. You love to see people fail. Where like in other countries, it's like you can do anything. If you want to like be a professional athlete, go and do it. There's like belief, there's backing. Like I don't know if you've been to America. When I've been, it's like people like properly support, like really want to like get in deep.
Yeah, no, I've been to America a few times. Like I think it's a lot. I don't know. I'd say it's a bit of not a facade, but a sense of like the kind of you know, on a believing in a lie in a sense over in America. Whereas I feel like in the UK it's more of a brutal truth.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like, you know, communities like Liverpool, even maybe like Manchester to an extent, you know, and you know, I'll give it to London as well. There's kind of like this sense of like they don't want to just fit the mold type thing. They're quite out there, you know. A lot of the country's best music, for instance, has come out of Liverpool, Manchester, and London.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, you know, especially Liverpool. Like Liverpool's hosted the biggest name in music ever, the Beatles.
Yeah.
Like it's such a different kind of, you know, they've got that actual real thing to kind of be inspired about and actually look to kind of progress with.
Yeah, it is. It's really much like that, isn't it? Like everybody knows them.
Yeah, everybody knows them, all around the world.
Yeah. Now, staying around passion more towards like you personally, do you think with like what you do is like content creation, do you think it is kind of a catalyst that people support you in that way and listen and believe and want to get on board with what you're saying because of like, say, the passion you present yourself on camera, or shall we say?
I think
because it does come off. This is how you are off camera as well.
No, of course, no, because I'd say it kind of works both ways. I think the truth of the matter is with social media, when it comes to numbers are the most important thing. If your numbers are crap, you're gonna lose your passion for it.
Yeah.
If the numbers are good, you're gonna keep it going. That's just the truth of the matter. Like it's a harsh reality, but that's just what social media is. But if you display that passion at the beginning when the numbers are low, eventually when the numbers come in and people are showing just as much passion about your craft than you are, obviously it keeps you going. And with me, it's like, because I've got such an easy kind of passion that loads of people share with me, mainly about the football, which is mainly what my content on social media is about. It's quite easy to just keep it going because it's just like you know you're guaranteed to get people to like it anyway. Whereas if you're doing something else, it might be quite harder to, because it might be quite a very niche
and unique
thing, but where you need a very specific kind of person or a specific kind of follower base to really get behind you to keep you going with it. But for me, I think with the camera, I've never really been bothered about a camera there. You could stick
Yeah.
another 10 in and I wouldn't really,
Would be
really
bothered,
wouldn't be
yeah.
bothered by it. So I think for me, that I think, as again, speak for myself personally, I think that's from like personality wise, it's just that helps me get past the line more than passion because I
Yeah.
know I can just do it.
Do it, yeah. But I think that comes off to people as well. They can see like the calmness of it, and like you truly can just embody being yourself. So
Yeah.
like if we didn't have no camera here, like when we've met up and spoke in the past, the conversation is exactly the same. We've just got a camera.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's no
difference.
Yeah, no difference
definitely.
whatsoever. It's just there's a camera there. It's recording. That's it.
But you're just
Just stay the same. And a lot of people can't do it, and I find it mad. I don't know if I'm just a weirdo for just wanting to be in front of a camera all the time. But some people really just can't do it. So they kind of like not live their dreams or live their aspirations, but they kind of have some sort of like fantasy world through you.
Through you, yeah.
And obviously, I'm not saying through me exactly because some people might. But like I was like people like Still Ryan, people like Sam Taylor, Tom Rogan, all these others that I've not even mentioned that are still up, that are way, way up there, especially in Liverpool. A lot of people will kind of live out like a fantasy life of themselves through them.
Because they'd like to envision themselves doing that, but just can't get over it.
There's just something there in the back of their mind which kind of stops them from doing it.
Yeah.
And it's quite not a sad thing, but it's quite it's a bit of a down feeling thinking like that, but at the same time, it's also quite a wholesome feeling knowing that you're somebody's, I guess, like comfort. You know what I mean?
Like somebody will listen to you like when they just want to release themselves from something like it's like watching a film. You watch a film to get away from life. So like
exactly.
people will tune into you to like get away from other thoughts in their head, and it might not be deep thoughts in the head, but it just
something
makes them happy for an hour.
Exactly.
Whatever it is, or if it's 30-second video, it boosts the day, the emotions for that day.
Of course.
Now this might be a bit deep, but I just want to get your thoughts on it, see what you think. Does passion give life meaning, or do you think we romanticize it? You can sit with it, like, just have a think.
Say it one more time for us, please.
Does passion give life meaning, or do we romanticize it?
Oh, that's a very well worded question, that, to be fair. I think with life having a meaning, I think life only has a meaning if you give it one. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, some people's lives, they are just bog standard lives and they just do a 9 to 5 every day, and then they, do something on the weekend and then go back to it and all that. And, that's just their life. They might, they've got a family, but then that family is their meaning to life. For me, it's like doing videos and social media and then going to the football. That's my meaning of life. Like, that's what I kind of live my day-to-day for. And obviously I've got all these other things around me which obviously help keep me going, regardless. Obviously, like your parents, family, your girlfriend, all that. They obviously keep you going through it. But everything that you do, everyone that you meet, everyone that you know, people that you give your time to, some of it might not just be a passion, some of it is just normal life. But it's kind of like that in itself is still a meaning to life.
Yeah, true. Very true. That's a really good point, yeah. Now
Thank
we've
you.
spoken identity, we've spoken passion. So let's track right back to your upbringing. How pivotal have your mum and dad been to you?
I think as pivotal as any parent can be to their child, really. It's I made a joke to my mum the other day, actually. I said, like, Mum, you've done the best job that you ever could with the resources you had.
Yeah.
And, because obviously, we've just a normal family that live in the south end of Liverpool, and, we're not the richest in terms of money. We don't have the biggest house. We don't have the flashiest cars. I mean, my dad's got a BMW X6 now, but, we didn't, we're not like driving around in Lambos and all that. We don't have a lot of luxuries, but we've got enough that makes us happy, and we've got enough that, I guess, gives, as I said, it gives a meaning to the life that we do have as a family and the life that they've given me as their child. It's
I think it's powerful that you can actually see that though. I think because a lot of people do, even at like our age now, they still do compare, and but you actually just seeing it from like a reflection of like on what everything they could do or everything possible, like their jobs and how they've been able to live and bring you up, they've done. It's
yeah,
powerful, isn't it?
yeah, of course. Like of course it is, and obviously some people aren't lucky enough to have live in two-parent households or healthy
I
two-parent
know. Yeah.
households. And I think not in a negative way, but I think sometimes you can see that in people, and it's just it's just one of them. That's just life for some people, and they don't know any
Well,
difference.
it shows how lucky or privileged,
Yeah,
shall we say, we are. Because like I had a conversation with a lad, probably before the new year, and we were talking about. He was saying how like picking, you don't get to pick your
you
parents. It's
don't.
like it's a lottery ticket. So what the positive, either the positive or they're going through troubles themselves, it's gonna affect you in some way. So if they're positive and they're in a good relationship and stuff, it's only gonna benefit you, isn't it?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
you've got to look how privileged we are just to have like two parents who are supportive, or even if it's one parent who's there supportive, backing no matter what. It's crazy, isn't it? People take it for granted.
Yeah. Some people do, some people don't. It's
Don't.
just I don't think it is a bit of a weird one because I think the household ultimately shapes, like, in the grand scheme of things, the household is where your morals come from. It's where your sense of belonging comes from. It's where most of your life lessons are going to be taught. You know, obviously you're going to go to school and learn maths, English, science, whatever. But like in terms of life lessons, a lot of the ones you're going to learn are going to come from home.
Definitely.
You
Yeah.
know, I've learned a lot more just in terms of general life from my dad than anyone else, any other institution ever in my life. And my dad weren't always like at home every time I got home from school because he was in the fire service. So sometimes he'd be like in the fire station for like 3 days and be home for 3 days. And that's just how my dad. That's just how my dad worked. That's how he operated, and I never really knew any difference to it
Yeah.
as a kid.
So
And
it's just normal
that
for
was
you,
just
was it?
normal
Yeah.
for me. And like even now he's in work, and I won't see him till tomorrow, and then he'll be home, and then again I won't see him for like another 3 days. And
Yeah.
that's just how I've always been. And I've never, but every time he has been home, it's like there's been, he's obviously had his effect on me and taught me a lot. And you know, my dad's obviously has molded me into. I mean, I'll say this now: if I can even be half the man my dad is,
Ah, yeah,
like,
that's
you
it.
know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'd take that in a heartbeat
Yeah.
because it's just like the stuff that, he's just done for me. Just even stuff that I don't know that he's done,
Yeah.
or even like just little things. Whether it's just like, oh, like here's 20 quid, you can go to Astros with
Yeah.
your mates and just get yourself like a pizza or something.
That's what I mean. It's like the little things, isn't it? It's like your parents, they're doing stuff for themselves
Mm,
and then also supporting
yeah.
you. Where like with us, it's like we've got us, and all right,
Mm,
sometimes we might get our mum and dad something or pick them up when they need them or pick something up. But in general,
yeah, exactly.
we only have to provide and think for
Hmm.
ourselves, isn't it? So like
Yeah.
it does show how
Like he
powerful it
literally,
is.
like, even just talking to my dad, and he'd just say, like, when you were like, when you were younger, you'd
Mm.
beg for me to sit next to you and just watch SpongeBob. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I'd be like, Dad, don't you lie. You loved SpongeBob as well. Don't even pretend like you hated it because everyone loved
Yeah.
it. Yeah, but stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just being
Yeah.
there when necessary and when
Necessary.
when you
Yeah.
can. Like, that's basically the bare minimum I could ask, and I'd say they've gone beyond that. Both of me mum and dad.
Yeah.
With me
So,
mum, it's like my mum's always, obviously, because my mum's had to kind of not step up, but they obviously said with me dad being in work some days, it's like me mum, it'll just be, me mum at home. So she's had to like make sure that I'm fed when I get home from like school. And even now, like if I get home from work and she's home before me, there'll be food just taking me from A to B, even like nowadays, Like, I'll get back home from like a footy game at like 3 a.m. and she'd be sat there at the rocket in her car waiting to pick me up, and she'd be like, I've just woke up, and she's just,
come and get
you know
you.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I only live like a 5 minute walk away from the rocket,
Yeah.
but it's just the incentive of doing it.
Yeah. And
Like,
waking up at that time.
or like watch your ETA or like 3 o'clock in the morning. She'd be sat there 10 minutes before waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Just that kind of,
Selflessness.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think also, obviously, you mentioned it earlier, but do you think obviously having different cultures in your household, and then like you've got family all over, say the country and in Zimbabwe, do you think that has been important for you? Like to see that?
Yeah.
Do you know, to understand and like be around different type of people and understand different people?
Yeah. As I said before, like everyone has two sides in their family. Everyone has the mum side, everyone has the dad side.
Yeah.
And I don't think people think about that a lot, as much as they maybe could.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people, the reality is their mum side and their dad side are just very similar because they're either from the same city or they just have a similar way of life.
Yeah.
But with me, because my mum's side of my family and my dad's side is just so different. It's a case of like I've kind of growing up, I've always been able to kind of not put on a personality, but like know how to like get myself prepared for this kind of environment or this kind of environment. And obviously now like it helps sometimes if I need to be in a new place or if I'm doing like a new video and I need to kind of not put on a persona but be sounding in a different environment or a new environment. And obviously that having that kind of unique cultural background, it's obviously what it's shaped who I am again. And it's taught me things that I never really would have thought about until, really now when you ask me the question, to be honest, like
Do you
it's
think
just
it
one of
gives you
them.
an openness to like be able to understand others and others' opinions and why others think certain ways because where they're from?
Yeah, because as I said, the first topic of this entire thing was about how the city as a whole is shaped, who we are really, and it's the same really for different countries and that. Like, there's a kind of different way of doing things, different music you listen to. There's obviously the different language. There's a different way of communicating. There's different dances. People dress different. People behave different. There's all these like, they might sometimes it might be small tweaks, but sometimes it might just be complete polar opposites. And as I said, as a kid growing up, being able to kind of adjust myself to each different environment that I was put in.
It's only put you in good stead.
It's only really benefited me more than if it weren't like that, I'd say.
Yeah, true. Well, I want to read out something you said as well. I got my methods of thinking from my dad and my emotional aspect from my mum. Hearing that, I'm interested in thoughts on detaching away from emotional sides at certain times and more leaning towards, shall we say, rational thinking. How do you navigate that balance?
I think it just kind of, it depends on the kind of environments that I'm in. If it's something that's less serious and it's more a bit for fun, then you tend to lean more on your emotional side because it's then you fully kind of get involved in it. Like, let's just say at like footy. Like, when I'm inside the ground, I don't care what my opinion is outside. At the end of the day, I believe Liverpool are the best team in the world. I want Liverpool to win, and I'll put all my heart and soul into it. But when I'm outside the ground, if I'm in the pub, if I'm doing a video talking about the game, I'll completely detach all emotion. I'll just say what I think at that current moment of time. And if it's obviously a lot more serious, with like, let's just say politics or something, it's like I'll always try and avoid people who use their emotional side to think about what they believe politically. Even if I tend to agree with them, it's like I don't want to be really around you talking about that if I know that you're talking about that from the heart and not the mind. And obviously you've got to have some sort of heart in what you believe.
But
or what you know what I mean. But to an extent, it's like if you can't like detach rational thinking from emotion, then you're gonna really get lost. And you're gonna have really deep moments where you can't, because emotion won't be able to save you.
Well,
in
you lose
in a lot of
clarity, I
life.
think, as well.
Yeah. Emotion won't save you in a lot of your life. It will, emotion makes us human. It does. And you've got to have emotion to be, to just get about with life. But as I said, with like some situations and some scenarios in life, like I've got to detach yourself from it. I mean, in terms of like content and like social media, you've got to have obviously more emotion than rational thinking behind it. Because if you start rationally thinking about social media to an extent, you get to a point where you're over analyzing everything, and then you just think, nah, I'm gonna quit. Can't be bothered. No, it's just no point. So it's you end up defeating yourself before you even get anywhere.
Yeah.
So you then tend to lean more on your emotional. You'd be like, oh, I don't care that this video already got 2 views. It's the best video ever. I'm going to make another one. Because that's essentially how you're going to progress with it.
But you've got to be naive sometimes, haven't you? And that's the emotion side.
That's the emotion side of it. But as I said, it benefits you in some situations, but in other situations, it can really destroy you.
It's getting a happy medium, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I try and make sure that I'm quite, balanced, or like when I think it's necessary to be emotionalist, I'll try and be rational. But when I think it's necessary to be emotional, I'll try to be as irrational as possible.
So, like, say for example, if it's in your job or watching the footy or in any personal situation, is that how you try and just navigate the happy medium?
Yeah, it's basically, as I said, it all comes down to situational, pretty much. Like as the examples I gave before, you've got to just be able to read the situation that you're in, not perfectly, but at least just have some sort of understanding.
Yeah, of course.
And then be like, right, sound, this is how I should approach that, or this is how I should approach this, and just be aware of what you're getting yourself into, really. Because if you go into the wrong thing with the wrong mindset, it will hit you. It will hit you, whether it's physically or mentally. But
if it's an emotional decision, that can negatively affect you so bad.
Exactly.
Because like you said, your rationality, it just goes out the window, and you're just thinking on like emotions of like, should do this. But then sometimes emotions are like, it is overall just finding that.
Emotions can cloud your vision sometimes, because emotions essentially, like, they can put a false reality in your head. And if you run with that false reality narrative based on your emotion, like you'll end up just digging a hole for yourself.
Yeah.
And even if it's just like normal life situations, like just things, oh lad, like, no, this is not going well. I'm just not, I feel crap and that. And like at the end of the day, if you don't rationally think to yourself like, nah, you know what? Like, okay, that was a bit crap today. But lads, fucking, like with me yesterday, like I was like, oh, the world's against me. Like both my phone chargers are broken. I'm gonna have to spend 20 quid on a new one. And then I just got out the house and I just bought them. I just bought a new charger and I just got on with it, because I just kind of switched out of that little kind of like, no, lad, it's all over, it's done.
Like the pity moment.
Yeah, exactly. Allow yourself to have it. As I said. Allow yourself to have emotion.
Yeah.
You're human. Emotion, is a key factor to being human. Everyone has emotion.
But it's like not letting it overtake you.
Don't let it overtake you. Don't let emotion overtake your rational thinking. But don't let your rational thinking take over your emotion at the same time.
Definitely.
It's like kind of too much of one thing is always bad for you.
Well, it's like a dance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now I'd like to dive into your social media. Now, I feel like, from what I understand, there was no clear goal or intention in mind when starting it. Can you talk me through this period?
So
when you started?
Basically, I started just doing TikTok in lockdown. And it was literally just a pastime. And I think a lot of people started like that. It was essentially just a pastime. Like, I just had nothing to do in my house. I was bored. You can only play Fortnite and Warzone for so long before you just become numb. And like, I just thought, I'm going to just do it. Just scroll on my phone. I thought to myself, someone's just doing a top 5 list of this. Let me just do a top 5 list of something else. And you just do it. And to your surprise, it's kind of like, oh, that video kind of does well. And then you just do it again. And it's all for fun. And as I said, because I've never really had a problem being on camera anyway, it was always just a case of like,
It all fits into place though, didn't it? It was like, obviously the time, and you had that time, we all had a lot of time.
Oh, we had so much time
to do so much, isn't it? Like, and that's where you like did find new things. Of like, you did say, I accidentally fell into it.
Yeah, no, I did. But the truth is actually right. I did accidentally fall into it in lockdown, because it was never really, I never really planned on like progressing with it. I just kind of did it, and then I was thinking, I'll do it, and then September will come along and I'll just go sixth form and just whatever, and it'll just be one of them. But the truth is, right, I used to make like loads of, I'm sure loads of people did it as well, but I used to like make like FIFA YouTube videos back in like 2016 or something.
So you
So
always
I've
had
always
that.
I've always had some sort of just intent to just do it. But, you know, it was never a case of like, it, you know, I kind of did it in school and then stopped doing it because I'll be honest, I kind of got a bit bullied for it a little bit, and then people sticking videos and lessons, and you think, why the fuck are you doing that?
Yeah.
Like we're meant to be learning about Romeo and Juliet, lad, and you bring it up, you playing foot draft.
Yeah.
Like what are you like? What's going on here, lad? You know what I mean? So I just sacked it off in school, but I just did it again. Not because I was like, I want to do it again, but it was the case of like, I'm just bored. And as I said, that's what I mean. That's why I get the kind of just fell into it. It was purely by accident.
So even though you did fall into it, it was still like in the back of your head.
Yeah, it was still there.
There was still times where, like, obviously you are a confident person, like you said, you're comfortable being on camera, and it was just getting over that fact of like doing it, isn't it?
It was just the realization of like, just. To be fair, I think another reason why it kind of worked out for me is because at the time it was like, I'm making these videos, I'm seeing no one. I'm literally just in my house the entire day. I can't like go out into school the next day and then be like, people are like trying to whack me videos on in lesson and
or say something,
or like doing stuff that makes me want to put it off. It's like I'm just in the comfort of my own house. I can just do it, and the only person that I'm with is, you know, the only people I'm with is me dad, me mum, and me brother. That's it. Like there's no one else. So there's no sort of.
It's mad, isn't it, when you actually like look in the grand scheme and look back and see like, wow. So like them moments, probably that lockdown really did like benefit you in that way of like, maybe if you were still in the school environment, you would have tried it again, picked it up, but then not done it because of them reasons. Like it's funny how it all pans into place.
Yeah, because the thing is, I slowly stopped really doing it once when sixth form started again, because I went from GCSE level to sixth form, and then when, as I said, but when school started again, I slowed down with it a lot. I slowed down with it so much, and I didn't really post on TikTok much or YouTube. And that's when I found Twitter, basically. So I found Twitter because you could just talk about anything on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then, you know, eventually it will catch an algorithm, you'll get likes. It's the same with any social media platform, but because of the kind of the, not shame in doing TikTok, but the kind of like having to go and see people after doing it, knowing that, you know, back in the day it was harsh.
Yeah.
Twitter was a bit more comforting because I could just put a picture of like Firmino on my profile picture, tweet about footy. No one knows it's me.
No.
I'll have my name in it, like, but no one really knows it's me. That could be anyone.
Yeah. And there's not much to give back because all it is, it's like a little
exactly.
picture.
Like I'm not trying to make something. I'm not forcing anything. Because sometimes, like when you make TikToks, I can't make a video. I'll have this idea in me. I'd be like, oh, that's fucking brilliant. I'll film it, and I'll be like, oh, that's crap. It's just so forced. It's crap. But on Twitter, it's just a case of like, oh, the game's here. Oh, I'll add every goal that tweet.
Yeah. It's
and it just builds from there. That's all it was.
And it builds into like,
and there's no effort behind it. Literally, there's no effort behind it. Sometimes, you know, you have to think a bit about a tweet.
Well, you have to, don't you, in a certain way.
Yeah.
Because you're actively doing it, but then also it's just reactive in the
exactly.
moment.
It is. And I think, you know, because of that, as I said, because of Twitter, really, I stopped really posting on TikTok.
Yeah.
You know, because it was just so much easier to just do stuff on Twitter and get a following from it and just get likes and, you know, build from that instead. And then it wasn't only really until like 2022 when it was like I'd moved out of, you know, I'd left sixth form in 21 and then started a new college. And then you're older then anyway, so you get to the point where you are just not asked anymore about people's thoughts and you just keep on doing it anyway. And then, as I said, Twitter became much bigger than that and et cetera, and then obviously it kind of fell in line with how good Liverpool were in the moment and going to games and posting about it and just connecting with people.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, as I said, with social media, for me, for my own experience, I can say that, I guess, for me to get to this point now, everything's kind of just fell into position as it's happened. I've kind of done it and let things work themselves out. I've not forced anything. I've not tried to do too much. I've not tried to be something else. I've not tried to overcomplicate it. I've simply just done
Yeah.
something.
Do you think people can
And I've
be?
just let things fall into place.
Do you think people can be a bit too much technical with it, or like I even think sometimes I'm guilty myself to it. Like, do you know when you overthink? I don't know if you've ever been in that situation. Like overthink, like planning to do this thing or like starting something content wise. So I'll start this new series, or I'll do this, or I'll do that. Do you think it actually can negatively affect people who are like either starting?
I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously it can, because sometimes you get people who plan too deeply into something, and it thinks to yourself, lad, you're planning too deeply into like a 60-second TikTok. Like, just do the TikTok, just make it.
Yeah,
Like,
put it
even
out
myself, I've done it myself. Even as I said there about how I literally filmed a video and was like, lad, that seems too forced. Fuck that off.
Yeah.
You know, truth is, I could have posted it and it could have done very well, but it's because I didn't really
Connect with it or
connect.
feel right, yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like if I don't connect with my own video, no one else is going to.
Yeah.
That's just how a lot of people operate.
Well, it should be so, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because obviously you are being, well, most people are 9 times out of 10 being them and trying to present them. So if you're not feeling that and you're not feeling like that's coming across, it's like, I've done it myself in the past. Like I tried filming episodes on my own with like Q&A questions, and it was just like, I didn't feel like it was right. It was like too much. I like people to bounce off or like ask somebody else. It felt like too scripted, or like me trying to preach.
I think sometimes when I do live streams by myself, I'm a bit hesitant to do live streams sometimes, because I feel like it can so quickly get to that point where you are just not spouting nonsense, but you're kind of just like trying to hold on to something to just look like you're doing something.
Yeah.
But like, luckily for me, like I can do it live and I can get a good little audience in, and they'll always be bouncing questions at me, and I'll always be trying to interact, and I'll get a few people on in that, or I'll play a game and people are watching me play that game, like headball, like, you know, something like that, something silly, and people are buzzing off it, and that's good. Like, I can do that because it doesn't feel forced. It just feels normal. Like I'm just playing a game.
Like you do it anyway.
And people are enjoying it, or I'm just on a live stream talking about anything, and people are just talking to me back through the chat, and it just feels normal. But you know, sometimes you just get people who, you know, they don't really have they don't really have a like. To be fair, I'll just say it how it is. I was trying to be nice, but some people just don't have a personality. That is the truth of the matter. Some people just don't have anything about them. So they go on live and they're just like, oh, like, look at me, like I do this, and but they don't actually have anything actual about them. Like
authenticity, isn't it?
Like I guess some people, for me, they might just say, oh, you go to the game, do you? Yeah, oh, never knew. And it's like, okay, fair enough. You are just a soul, because obviously that's like the main thing I post about. Like, of course, that's going to be a big part of who I am. But like,
I think that comes from their jealousy.
exactly.
Or like,
it could do, it could not. But then at the same time, it's like when I'm on a TikTok live, you know, I was on a TikTok live yesterday or 2 days ago with like Reardon, you know, that Jason Arnold, Mitchie, Callum Skillen, you know, all of us, like, we're just on a TikTok together, TikTok live, and we're just buzzing off each other. We've all got something different about ourselves, and we're just, truthfully, we're entertaining hundreds of people in that moment, and all we're doing is just sitting in our Mars box room and just like, you know what I mean? No, and that's all we're doing.
But it's given that relatability, and that like it is you, isn't it? It's like, I think there's only so long you can live a lie and not be authentic, isn't there? So like them people who don't have that their own personality.
I feel like I'm not going to name names, obviously, because I'm not the one to try and be in beef. But I feel like there's a lot of creators out there in Liverpool and out of Liverpool who kind of force a persona. And, you know, I might know them and I may think they're sound people, but I might not know them, so I won't have an opinion on them until I know them. But I think eventually it will get to a point where something kind of goes wrong and people kind of think, oh, that was just a persona. And it's different in the sense of like, if you make it obvious that it's a persona. So like, if I was like, for me, people call me Stephen Klopp, and it's like, that's so obviously like a fake persona that people put on me from Twitter. And that's obvious. I'm not going around pretending to be this Twitter account, you know, like, no, that is just a joke. But there are some people who do force a bit of a false reality about them. And I'm not saying it's bad, I'm not saying it's good. because it makes sometimes it does make good content, sometimes it makes horrible content, but at the end of the day, like if because it is a persona, you know, it can only really last so long. It could last a month, it could last 10 years.
Yeah.
But personas have limited time.
Well, they do, isn't it? There's only so much you can live a lie, can't you?
Yeah, exactly. Personas only have so much time, whereas just being yourself lasts so much longer.
Well, it basically lasts forever.
Yeah, because you're always going to be yourself.
Yeah, and no matter even if like your interests change or your thoughts change, you're still you at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Where if you're living a lie, you're just trying to keep up with the next thing and the next thing, just trying to keep up with it. But you always get found out in the end, no matter.
I'll go back to like just normal TV show, like just watch what stuff you watch on TV. Yeah, like we can't like deny how like legendary The Simpsons is as a series, but we can't lie at the same time that the whole reason why it's now, let's be honest, new episodes that get released, no one watches them because it's just stale. Because obviously The Simpsons is a cartoon, it's personas, it's entertainment, but it is you can only do it for so long before it kind of the gimmick ends.
Yeah, well, it's repetitive.
Do you know what I mean? You can only do it so long before the gimmick ends. A persona is just a gimmick, and gimmicks have lifespans, as I said. You know, we can go back to any other TV show. There's always a reason why they have a cut-off point and they don't make any more. And people are like, oh, no, but we want it back. And you're like, if it comes back, it won't be the same.
Well, sometimes it needs that ending, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Sometimes a book needs to be closed for something new to come,
exactly.
Isn't it?
And that's why, for me, I always try and make sure that I'm just making videos which relate to me as a person, or something that I can relate to, or something that can make people laugh. But at the end of the day, it's not me, like, unknowingly pretending to be something that I'm not, or pretending to be, like, something else. It always is deep rooted in like something that I actually like think or believe. And if it isn't, it's quite obvious that I am playing a character in that sense. You know, like let's look at Sam Taylor. I love Sam, one of my best mates in content. I love the fella, and I've spoken to him on the phone so many times, and he's just given me so much like belief about myself when I've not had it about myself. And the reason why Sam's so good is because he does skits and he makes a different skit each time. And it's obvious that is not Sam. That's just a character. And he plays a different character each time. And he's so good at those characters that he plays that every time he posts a new video, it's as if you're seeing him again for the first time. And that's that's like one of the only kind of cases in which playing a persona works, like long term,
because it's obviously everything's different, isn't it? Nothing's like the same storyline or the same like
exactly. It's not the same gimmick over and over again and rinse and repeat. It's the same idea broadcasted in many different ways, and that's one of the things that like I really like love about him personally as well, because like when you were just with him, he's just is like you sound like just your normal everyday Sam. That's what he is. You know what I mean? Like he really is, and then he has that persona on camera, and then he can switch off from it as well. And then when you meet him, he's just as sound as he is there and whatever. And you know, that's again, as I say, like one of the cases of which I think, you know, personas work in that sense. But for me, it's like, because as I said, me and Sam do two completely different style contents. You know, I can really only take so much from what he does and try and use it to my advantage. But because as I said, everything that I do is just related to me. Whereas, for instance, like everything Sam does, it's just like could just be a made up scenario. It could be something completely fictional, but he'll make it seem so real. You know?
Definitely. So do you know when you were also talking about certain trolls or like people having a little lip or stuff, you put out a lot of opinions, don't you? And I feel like when you start doing that, people think they know you.
Yeah.
Or then have opinions about you. Obviously, you've experienced this. How do you deal with that? Because people obviously just have like wrong ideas, like, oh, he's in because he said that, or that's like sometimes it's just something you put out as based on that emotion in that moment, or people just take something and then build a character.
truth is, especially when it comes to football, is that football's tribal. If you want to work in the football industry, especially making football content, posting football related stuff on social media, truth of the matter is, like, because my content is mainly around footy, especially Liverpool. I could make any other style of content, but because like my main content's a Liverpool fan, you may get a few United fans or Everton fans who may think that my content's funny when it's not football related, but because I'm that Liverpool fan who said like, United is shit or Everton is shit, they're not going to give me time of day.
Yeah.
And it's one of them. It's like
Part of parcel.
Exactly. You can't have both things really. Like I can't like do what I want to do in the football media world and then expect people of other clubs to just like me for who I am, because at the end of the day, like I'm like talking crap about something that they really love, which is it's valid. It is. I'm not saying hate towards me is valid, but them not giving me time of day is valid. It's fair enough. Like they don't have to give me time of day. But at the same time, like sometimes it is just a bit like people think that they know you and people think that they have a solid opinion on you just because you tweet like opinions about footy. And it's like, lads, like everyone has their own different outlook on life, and I think everyone's outlook on life reflects on how they look at football. So some people might just be extremely overly positive just in life. Like they could lose their leg and be like, well, at least 100% of my legs are working because they've got one leg and it works. Do you know what I mean? It's mad. So they might just have that same outlook on football, and you could lose 20 games in a row and they'd be like, you know what? Like we're still Liverpool, aren't we? Or whatever. And I'll be like, but then for me, it's like I might look at it different, and then you got someone else who like is on the extreme negative because that's just how they have an outlook on life. And because of that, people try and because Jurgen Klopp said himself, footy's the most important side of the least important things, and people make sure that like they live by that. Really, they do, and they really take it as serious as they possibly can, because it is not serious. And I have been blocked by loads of people just because I've said a different opinion to them, and it's like, hey, come on, like all I've said is I don't think this player should be playing there or something like that. And you get like a lot of old generation fans, not all, not obviously this is the case with everything in life. It's a small percentage of people in a bigger demographic. It's always a small bunch. So when I say small bunch of people in the older generation, I do really mean a small group of people. They have this kind of outlook on younger people because they haven't lived as much life, or they haven't seen as much football, or
this can be in any situation.
You know what I mean? Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the best example of this really in terms of Liverpool is obviously the case of if Slot should be sacked or not. And it's a case of like, a lot of old generation fans are like, oh, but Liverpool don't do this. We're not that kind of club. We're not United. We're not Chelsea. But you don't know what you're on about. I was there when Liverpool won the Champions League in '84, and I was there when they built the fucking Kop in 1906 and all that. And they're like, come at lad, like, what do you want me to do? I'm 21 years old. You know what I mean? I can barely remember Istanbul. I was 1 year old for it, lad. Like, what do you want me to do? I'm just giving my outlook because that's just my experience of it. That's just my experience of it. That's just what I know. I'm not claiming to know more than you, but this is just what I know. And it becomes tribal like that, because that is just footy. Football is tribal. And when you make an opinionated based content, that's the struggle that you're going to get. Really,
it becomes part and parcel. That
is
what
a struggle.
You're doing, isn't it?
It becomes a struggle of what you're going to get. You're going to get people who follow you because they agree with you. You're going to get people who hate on you because they don't agree with you. And it's always quite funny though, because when it comes to opinionated content around football, because football's such a personal thing to a lot of people hate you personally because of an opinion. Where it's like, lad, like you could still agree with like 99% of the things I've said, but because you don't agree with that one thing, you now block me, or you give me jib, or you hate me. It's like, lad, you don't even know who I am. You don't have a clue who I am.
Just from one thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Build characters. It must be difficult to. Sometimes it must be like frustrating or annoying, like when people like build this persona about you that's like just not true. It's like, but then at the same time, that is what it's always going to come, isn't it? So it's like you just like accepting it because it does it bother you?
When it comes from certain people, I think you can kind of tell when you can. Yeah, I think you can tell when it's like an obvious troll, but then you can also tell when it's like someone like being genuine serious.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's like 99% of the time, it just doesn't bother me. But when it, let's just say, like if it was to come from someone who like I respect, maybe, or
Yeah.
someone that I kind of look at and think that we're just the same, like what are you saying about, you know, then it will kind of be like, you know, if I feel like we're quite similar and you're thinking this about me, what am I doing that makes
Yeah.
you think about me?
Yeah.
Like it makes me think,
Yeah.
not that it bothers me, but it really does make me think, like, not if I'm doing anything wrong, but what am I doing like different
To
for
make
you
you
to
think.
think
Yeah.
that we don't share any similarities in that sense?
Yeah. True.
You know, there could be some deeper meanings to it. There might not be. I try my best to, if I can, I try my best to not have to dig too deep into a meaning unless I really have to. You know, it's one of them things. It comes with the trade, really.
Definitely.
So you kind of just learn to get on with it. The best thing you can do is, you know, try and change people's minds, and if they don't change their minds, then keep it stepping.
That's all you can do,
You
isn't
can,
it, to be
yeah,
honest?
exactly. It's all you can do. Some people are just like that. Some people will just never. Some people will just always be miserable. That's just how it is. Some people will always just be miserable, and some people are open-minded and they can, you know, you can change their opinions and you can change their outlook on you.
Yeah.
And you know, it's happened to me a few times as well. Like some people have hated me, and then I've ended up hopping on a podcast with them, or I've ended up just bumping into them in town, like when you're just out and about and we started chatting, and they'd be like, you know what, lad, like fair enough. Like, you know, I was wrong. And I've been the same with some other people as well. I've been like, you know what, lad, fair enough, I was wrong on you.
And people are, don't we?
And you know, yeah,
It always happens.
exactly.
On social media, off social media, just in life, it does, doesn't it? We have these misconceptions of who people are, and sometimes people are just doing it out of like their own naive, isn't it? So it's being basically calm under both situations,
Yeah.
isn't it? And just be having that openness again to just understand, isn't it? Like not everyone's gonna like it,
Yeah.
but that's life, isn't it? And you just
But
gotta.
to be fair though, it goes back to literally everything we were talking about before, about like emotion and rational thinking. It's like,
Yeah.
if you think about it too much in a rational sense, it will eat you up.
Yeah.
If you think about it too much in an emotional sense, it will eat you
You
up both ways.
Either way, yeah.
So you've got to really be like, balance out the books. You really got to just be like, right, this is what it is. Just get on with it.
Definitely. Well, back in 2024, you had a challenging time that occurred
Yes.
on an away day to Arsenal.
So a lot of people are going to love this now. I've never really spoken about it proper, like I've obviously tweeted about what's happening, but I've never really spoken about it in detail.
Yeah,
like,
so
ever.
could you basically talk me through what happened?
Yeah, so basically, for those who don't know, Arsenal away in 2024, around the 5th of February. Essentially, you know, Liverpool scored, me and the lads celebrating on the boundary, stewards come up, gripped me. I've kind of reacted, jerked a little bit, and I've just, you know, shrugged them off me a little bit. Not in malice, not in, you know, with harsh intent, no violent tendencies. It was just a normal instinctive human reaction. The same way you jolt when your mate comes up behind you and does that on your shoulders. It's just one of them normal things everyone does. Got arrested, put in the back of a police van in handcuffs. Video of me getting arrested at the ground, millions of views on Twitter. Mum and dad both saw it. Obviously, in a slammer in North London for like 5 hours, or that. Got back home at 6 a.m. Had to go college the next day. Rough. Just that the day in itself, rough. The aftermath of it, rough. Obviously, that's the kind of, you know, in a nutshell, everything that's happened, everything that happened in that small moment of time. Honestly, it kind of, for how long it took, it all happened so quick. It was quite, it's mad because, you know, obviously the first and foremost, get back to Liverpool, going to college, whatever. I think on the Wednesday, the club emailed me, Liverpool emailed me. And I want to be careful with what I say here, because at the same time, I know that I could say something which could get me into trouble again. And obviously, I'm not going to try and make the club look bad. I'm not going to try and make the Arsenal stewards look bad. I'm not going to try and make the police look bad. I'm going to just tell the story as it is. The club emailed me and said, "We heard about your arrest at the Arsenal game. We're going to temporarily suspend you from going to football matches because, you know, due to you putting the club at distribute," which is fair enough. You know, it's a fair enough action to take. with someone getting arrested. You want to investigate it proper before, you know, you take action. So no issue with that whatsoever. It's one of them things. I knew it was going to happen, or that the other. And obviously time goes by, I have to buy a lawyer, which costs like $2,000. And then, you know, I have to go back down to London to do me, to like get not sentenced, what's the word, to get charged with something.
Do
Like,
the court.
you know what I mean? Yeah, I have to say like, my plea, sorry, not charged. I was already charged in the station. My plea, to go back down to London to do my plea and then come back up to Liverpool because I'm going to college. I'm college age. I'm 18, 19 at the time. And then obviously that takes a while, and then gets to April. Haven't been to a single game since Arsenal. You know, horrible feeling. I basically can't see loads of my friends anymore. Don't really have nothing to look forward to on my weekends anymore. And I felt like I lost a lot of myself. You know, and obviously people might even comment now and be like, "Oh, lad, again, all he's doing is talking about the football." But again, the truth is, lad, like it's a lot of my life. And we were talking about this off camera as well. Like it's for how much of the footy I go to, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But I was like, I really lost something that made me me, and because of that, like I really did feel miserable about it. I still got on with life. You know, I was still happy at moments. I was still sad at moments. You know, I could still joke about. But at the end of the day, like I still had this overhanging feeling of thinking to myself, like, fuck me, like I could, in a month's time, I could walk out of a courtroom with an assault charge, or not an assault charge, an assault sentencing. Assault on me, I could have a criminal record, which could say assault. Do you know what I mean? I could have a football banning order for 3 years, which basically limits me from not even just going to football, but just leaving the country every time Liverpool play away. And even fucking England, I don't care about England. And all this is like hanging over my head.
It must have been stressful.
It was weird. It was proper weird, like genuinely thinking to myself, like, fucking hell, like in this amount of time as it's getting closer, it's like, I could be a convicted criminal. And no one really, most people in their lifetimes will never really understand that feeling, but like, genuinely, like it was eating up at me. Like I could be a convicted criminal. I couldn't go to see family in the United States if that happened. I was going to go to Japan that summer, not in a couple summers' time. Sorry,
that wouldn't have been a case.
Wouldn't have been able to do that. You know,
missed times with your mates.
Missed times with my mates with the games. Wouldn't even be able to like quit a job with an assault charge. Like genuinely, it would have been all, and it really ate me up, lad. I'll say everything I went through now. I'd have times where it'd be like 2 a.m. and, as I said, I'd live in Wavertree, like on Smithdown, and I'd walk from Smithdown, I'd walk to Pierhead, and I'd go like the offie and I'd buy myself like an 8 crate and I'd just be necking them as I walked to Pierhead, and I'd just sit there on Pierhead with the remaining cans and just neck them, lad. Because my head just needed to be clear, and I genuinely, you know what I mean? Bro, it was a rough time, and like, to be honest about it, like, that's what I did. It really, really like took its toll on me. Not even just being missing the football, as I said, but like being a convicted criminal. That's not a
in the back. It's it must have been in your head constantly, like 24/7. You've got that running around your head, no matter like what you were going through.
Yeah, lad, it was horrible time, and literally I'd have sleepless nights. I'd have nights where I'd cry myself to sleep. As I said, I'd have nights where I'd be at Pierhead at 4 a.m, 6 cans deep. Just proper miserable stuff, lad.
People forget that though, don't they? People think, just look at him, like he's been tough, but they don't see like what could come from it.
And a bad thing that came from it as well is, because loads of people didn't know what happened. No one really knew why I was banned from the football. No one really knew why I had to go to court. People didn't even know I went to court apart from my close mates. People didn't know anything, and they were just making stuff up. People were saying that like I got banned from the footy because I sparked a bird, and I was thinking to myself, like, that's such a it's an obscene thing to say. Like, it's insane.
Even to just come up with that,
come up with that because you don't like to come up with that because you don't like me because I support Liverpool and you support Everton, lad. Like, it's such a weird thing to come out of. And even on Twitter today, if I'm talking to Everton fans just about footy, like debating or just like, going back and forth a little bit as Reds and Blues do in the city, they always pull out but didn't you get banned for sparking a bird? And I'm like,
stuff like that actually
It's
sticks with
two
you.
it's 2 years on, and people still bring it up, and people still, and I'm thinking to myself, lad, do you know how dangerous that actually is? How people genuinely think that as well. Like,
Because they're not just that's your, like, people misunderstand your
yeah,
identity just by someone who's made
yeah,
fake
exactly.
news.
And it's stuck with a lot of people, and you think just like that's seriously like fucked up, lad. Like, I'm going through all this, and then people are now making lies about me about that, and they don't have a clue. And obviously, I've got the video on my phone. I'm never going to post it anywhere. I've just got it on my phone. So if people want to see it, I can show them and be like, look, this is what, you know, I'll show you. I'll show you at the end when, obviously, when I can turn my phone on and that. But I show people, and I'll be like, lad, this is genuinely what happened. And, you know, they'll be like, oh, fucking hell, I was steep that. And I just said, like, this whole process, this whole 3 months of everything going in the back of my mind, and then people making up lies about me on social media, and it's sticking, really drove me, like, into a horrible, horrible place. And eventually, obviously, went to court, got found not guilty, you know, quite obviously. Like, I mean,
Did you know from the start, shall we say, like, you had very much, even though it was a very difficult time because you were getting convicted for this and people were saying stuff, did you have a confidence of, like, I'll be all right? Or was it still like, even though you knew you weren't in the wrong?
I mean, I always had this deep belief that I would be fine, because I knew, I was like, I know deep down I've not done anything wrong, and I've just got to trust the law and the system to do what it's meant to do. You know, and I know, I think we're going to touch on it later as well, but I had this, like, instinctive feeling that if God's got me, then I'm all right. So I always knew deep down, but it was still like the, you know, what ifs can eat at you. Because the thing is about a what if is that they're still viably possible. There's still some sort of, like, possibility that it could happen.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And so it's like, you're almost operating on a worst case scenario basis, because it's like, this could be a worst case scenario basis. Like, the odds are really still quite higher than what you want it to be. So it was one of them. Obviously, ended up going to court, found not guilty. It was a good day. Came back up to Liverpool, as I said. Obviously, I had to go back down to London. Good day. Managed, you know, came back up to Liverpool, all that. Went through my appeals process with Liverpool. Showed them all the evidence of me being to court. It took a while. It took me a few appeals, but eventually they got back to me and said, well, we reviewed all the evidence and all that. I sent the club the video, to be fair, of what happened in the ground. I sent the club the video. As I said, it took a while. Obviously, the season was still going on by then. It was only April, so it makes sense. And then 2 weeks before the new season started, the season we ended up winning the league, they got back to me and said, we've reviewed all the evidence, and we signed this behaviour agreement. We'll let you, we'll reinstate your season ticket, all that, and let you back at the game. So, I mean, at the time, I thought the club handled it poorly, but that was just my emotional speaking.
Yeah, at the time, yeah.
But now when I come back to it and think about it now, when I talked about it now, it was like the club did every single process that was necessary.
That they would have to do.
That they would have to do, which they'd have to do in that situation to come to a conclusion.
Yeah,
So,
to get the truth.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is fine.
So, and as I said, 3 months, horrible 3 months. Like, to make it matters worse, we bottled the league as well, didn't we? I think we were like,
well, wasn't it Klopp's last season?
Klopp's last season, we didn't win the league. I think we were like top of the league until with 4 games to go or something, and we just didn't win it. It's like, you know what I mean? But
it's a tail things off.
Honestly, what would I rather have? That league title not being able to go, or the league title which I went to see? Maybe I'm selfish. I want both, but if I had to choose one, I got the better end of the deal for myself personally. Definitely. But again, things have worked themselves out. It goes back to me posting the videos and seeing what happens and just letting things fall into place. It's the same thing with this. It all just worked itself out. It all just fell into place, and now everything's really back to normal in that sense. And still doing pretty much everything I was doing beforehand, and just with that little bit more of experience of just make sure like you keep your wits about you. Yeah. And it's nothing that I didn't really know already, but it's one of them things which it's now like actively on my mind.
It comes a bit more apparent.
And it was quite a and in times like that, even when you don't think there's really any lessons to be learned, because obviously you don't believe you did anything wrong, which I know I didn't do anything wrong. You might as well try and find a lesson to be learned.
Yeah.
Whether it's minor, whether it's major, you might as well just try and find something to
Find the
learn
good,
from it.
Yeah.
Just so you know that experience was worth going through.
Yeah.
And for me, it was just a case of, look, just keep your wits about you. No matter where you are, just keep your wits about you. And that's about it.
Do you think, what was the, when you saw the light and you knew that it was going to be okay, what was the things that helped you get through it? Or even while it was troubled times? I know obviously there was hard issues, but like, what helped you get through it? Through these times?
Ironically,
mentally?
it happened during Lent. So obviously, like I said, the lead up to Easter, innit? So it was quite like, because obviously I ain't going to the footy as much. I found myself going to church a lot, because a lot, I think that season, a lot of Liverpool's games were on Sunday, because we were in the Europa League, so we'd have the Thursday, Sunday schedule. And as I said, it just fell perfectly with Lent. And because of that, I found myself going to church every Sunday. And it was literally the cathedral. You can't even see it in the background, but you know what I mean? It's too dark now. But yeah, I started going to the cathedral, which is, I mean, it's had a big impact on my life as well. You know, growing up in that, which we can get into maybe a bit later. But I was going to the cathedral on the Sundays, and I was starting to, you know, kind of, I've always had that church upbringing, as I said. But
You were always around that environment, weren't you?
But you know, it kind of got me, you know, back into a groove of like, you know, back like with God and and that kind of spiritual connection as well. And it made me remember, like, you know, the reason why a reason why I love footy is because it makes me feel like I'm part of something bigger than me.
Yeah.
And
Connection with others.
yeah,
as well,
exactly.
isn't it?
And going to church and, you know, finding a connection with God, kind of, you know, it brought a very similar kind of feeling of being part of a collective and being part of something bigger than me. And, you know, just over time, it kind of just, you know, brought some belief in me. Obviously, there were still hard times. There were still times where I was thinking to myself, like, why is this happening?
Yeah.
You know, as someone who is religious, I always have my doubts. I always have my doubts, and I think that's what makes my kind of faith stronger, because I do have them doubts. I do
Well, that's what
question
people
it.
say.
Do you know what I mean? I do question it. I do seek answers. But during that time, it really did fill a void. And even to this day, it's still like, you know, it's filling a void in which I don't think could be filled by anything else in this planet, on this world, anywhere. It's like the only thing I think, you know, that, you know, can't really be replaced in that sense. And during that time, especially in 2024, it was like, it just kept, my faith just kept on building through it. And that's why I said before, like, in the end, I always knew that I'd be okay.
Hope,
I always knew that I always had that, you know, hope that I'd be okay in the end. Because, you know, mainly because of just getting closer to God and that, and building that relationship, going to church and just understanding, like, you know, that connection, that, you know, whether you believe it or not, whether the viewers believe it or not, you know, I have this kind of, you know, connection with the man upstairs, and you know, as long as I put my faith in him, no matter what happens, everything ultimately will be all right. No matter if I did walk out the courtroom that day with you know, with the criminal records, you know, everything, it would, you know, it would fix itself, or it would, you know,
Well, it's having
there's a
hope,
plan
isn't
for
it?
everyone out there type
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, that really, you know, helped me, you know, get through it. And the day I got my email from Liverpool that I could go back, the first thing I did, because I was in work in the office, my only work, you know, the Bennett's office is quite close to here.
Yeah.
First thing I did, I locked up the office. Don't even think I turned off all the plugs, honestly. I ran out the office, locked it up, didn't turn any window, like put any window things down, ran straight to the cathedral, and I just started bursting into tears, lad. Because I just felt like, you know, it was all like, it just was all worth it in the end. Yeah, everything fell into place. And, you know, it was always just the case of, like, you'd read Bible verses and it was always like, you know, to paraphrase them, be like, oh, just trust in the Lord, and, you know, the Lord's got a plan for you and all that. And in that moment, I felt it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
You really felt like,
yeah, I really did feel it. And I just, like I said, I got straight to the cathedral, went to the altar, just like fell over on my knees and just like face planted the ground, and it was just like I was crying, lad, like full on tears down my face, and I felt the first time in my life I could say I really felt, not in my life, sorry, in that year, in which I could really say I felt like truly happy or truly like fulfilled with something.
And thankful.
And thankful, yeah, and yeah, that's the best word for it. Yeah, thankful. You know, in that entire year.
That's really powerful. That I think it also, I love the way that you were able to see the good and see like a lesson, because we get blinded, obviously, especially when it's something so tough to your identity and your image, basically, isn't it? Not
Yeah,
just
exactly.
online. I just mean like walking in the street. If somebody pointed out, oh, that's that Greg. If it's a wrong, someone has the wrong story, it's gonna be what's in their head, and it's obviously it's hard for you.
Yeah,
that
there's a
to
million
deal with.
versions of you that exist in people's head, but there's
That's
only
what I
one
mean.
real version, you see. So
Like, I love how you said as well around that, what you learned, you can't rely on one thing to make you happy. Like the detach from football actually showing you your faith, for example.
yeah.
Like there's other things. Well, I remember you saying like there's other things bigger than football in some aspects. Do you think it really opened your eyes to like the other importance to life?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've always loved the footy anyway, and it's always been one of the main things in my life. Like I literally live, you know, I'll organise things so I make sure that I can go to the football type thing, but I'm never neglecting anything else because of it.
Yeah.
You know,
Or like
but
bringing the emotion back of the
yeah,
win or the
exactly,
loss.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's just a case of I go out with my mates, whatever, and then make content on it, etc., and then that's it, done. And you know, before that, it was quite a case of like, you know, I think I didn't. I just think at the time I didn't really have much else to look forward to. You know,
Yeah, I
because
see
I
what you
was
mean.
really only going to work, and then you know, these times I was, you know, working in like you know, hospitality, doing like, you know, pouring pints and like functions and that, and then just going to football, and that's all I really did it for. And obviously over time, you know, work became less of pouring pints and then working for Bennett's and doing content there. And then it became getting invited onto, you know, platforms to talk about the football. And then that turned into doing stuff like this and, you know, going down to London to do more podcasts and all that, the other. And it's now a case of the football is important for what I can do, but it's not like the only thing I look forward to, you know? You know, I can look forward to doing these videos. I can look forward to, you know, going to see my girlfriend every now and again.
The
'Cause,
little
you know
things,
what I
isn't
mean?
it? Yeah.
I've got those things now to look forward to. And not even actual football itself, but like trips. I've got something to look, I know I've got something to look forward to in March with my mates. I'm going to go to, me and my mates are going to either be in Spain, Italy, Belgium or Turkey come March.
Yeah.
That's something to look forward to. And obviously it is because of the football, but I've come to appreciate now the actual just being with people, the being
Well, it's the
with my
experience,
mates.
isn't it? That builds
You know
the
what I mean?
full. It builds
Exactly.
it all. Like going to the airport, getting on the flight,
Yeah, exactly.
being there, going for the meals before the game, the after the game, the banter in between,
Yeah,
the coming home.
exactly.
Even it's
And
like
you know, it's as I said,
it's memories of
I've got
lifetime.
more now. I've got more in my life. I guess I can, as I said, I can look towards for that kind of, you know, for that something to do,
Yeah.
that someone to see, that, you know, person to talk to, that kind of thing. I've got more of that now in my life than what I probably did when that happened to me back in 2024 at the footy. It was just a case of I'd go to college, I'd have a little snide job, and then I'd just go to the football. And that was really it. And as a young kid, you know, at 18, like that's all you really care about, truth be told.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't have any taxes to pay.
Yeah.
You don't have any bills to pay. All your money's just going on to that one thing. But now obviously I've got like all the things that I need to look at and, you know, do. And, you know, it helps me, you know, detach myself from just being too obsessed with one thing. It's like I can put all my energy into all different things and I can be a bit versatile and I can enjoy, I can just enjoy life, but other things and not just that one thing. And I think that's probably the, you know, that's a big thing that I guess that year taught me. In a nutshell, really. Yeah.
Amazing. I do think it's very inspiring, because even though it's a personal challenge that you went through and it's quite niche with it being a football, it still gives anybody value who listen to that, of like seeing the good in the end, or holding the hope through a difficult moment, or just in general seeing that tough times will pass, and actually seeing the good in that tough time is the right way to go through life, because it's only gonna let you release yourself from that time and see the good, and then grow with what you've learned from it.
Yeah.
Allow yourself to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. You need to be comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. I think, I just think, especially in this industry, I think, everyone knows you've got to adapt, you've got to progress, you've got to break the mold. You can have your certain niche, you can have your certain gimmick, but sometimes you've got to do something which is a bit out of the ordinary. You're not going to do that if you're just comfortable all the time. Comfortable times cause for uncomfortable realities, but uncomfortable times, cause comfortable realities. It's kind of, it's how it works, especially with, the content world. If you like, something that I'm noticing a lot more is, people doing, especially like big streamers, they're doing IRL streams. Like, they're just going out and about and just streaming their day. And you think to yourself, like, whoever thought of that? Like just going out and about and streaming is crazy. Like, that would make so many people who actually do stream so weirded out. It would, because they're like, oh, lad, I just want to get about my day and just do it. Instead of having to stream it, I'll just stream when I get back and just do games or not or something. But the truth is, now the biggest streamers are doing them IRL streams. I saw like Ryan, Arvo, Reardon and Sam Taylor did an IRL stream the other day, and it was heavy, and they got loads of clips from it. And I don't think any of them have IRL streamed before. They've all
natural though,
do you
isn't
know what I
it, as
mean?
well?
Like they really,
Capturing
truth is, whether they were really uncomfortable with the idea, or even just like a case of, yeah, not my thing, I'll do it anyway. They threw themselves at it. They're comfortable with being uncomfortable. They're comfortable with putting themselves in that uncomfortable situation. Anything could go wrong.
Yeah.
Anything can go wrong in
it's
an IRL
live.
stream. You're live and you're out and about in the public. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Literally, the worst could happen, and they still just went about and did it. It's not. I don't think I'd do it personally. In terms of like, I'd just stream myself walking about.
Imagine going and doing it at the match.
I think I'd get too many pelters for it on social media. To be honest, I don't think it would be worth it. No, but like, I'd do it with all them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would do it with all them. But I don't. It's like, I wouldn't do it by myself. But then that's again me being. That's me being comfortable with just
It's
in my own
the water,
thing. You know what I
isn't
mean?
it, as well? Back to like what we were speaking about with the question, like the quote and that. It's actually giving it a go, even if you like it or you don't, or if you don't have any backing at all of what it is.
And the truth is, though, is that like, you're gonna find yourself, especially in this industry, you'll find yourself being a hypocrite a lot, because you'll be telling people advice of what to do, and you're like, I don't even fucking do that myself, lad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't even do it myself. Like, it's one of them. You've got to kind of just get on with it. You've got to just adapt. Make sure you adapt yourself. And as I said, then obviously about making being comfortable with making yourself uncomfortable. There's loads of things that I wouldn't do because I just don't think I just don't think it'd be good for what I'm trying to do, or just because I'm a bit like, I don't know, maybe not, maybe that is just, to be fair though. At the end of the day, like, I've not gotten to this stage, and you haven't gotten to this stage without throwing yourselves at them.
It's the times that you don't know. It's the times where it's like tedious of not knowing the outcome, isn't it, or not knowing what is to come.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
you can't plan it. You've just got to throw yourself out there and have the openness to like fail, do well, but all in part, like back to when we were speaking about emotions, just like having that level ground of just floating along and just whatever comes at you, dealing with it with whatever you can at that time, controlling the controllables.
Yeah. I guess so, yeah. But at the same time, like, the truth is, just even in normal life, not everything's gonna go to plan, and you've gotta have that kind of sense of improvisation about you.
Yeah.
You know.
Being quick to change
Yeah,
or
exactly.
change under pressure
Mhm.
or not get too attached to something.
Mhm.
Well, when we were speaking, I asked you for a contact
Mhm.
and you gave me your mate, Ben,
Yes.
to get in touch with. So I basically asked him his opinion of
Mhm.
you
I hope
and
I hope it's not
how he
incriminating.
and how he sees you as a person through his eyes.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm going to read out what he said and then basically just get your thoughts and
Okay.
opinion on it. So, but by the way, I'll give you at the end. He gave me a good lengthy, nearly 3 paragraphs probably.
Did he? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really, really good. I've had
Mhm.
to keep the backing and the wording and everything in it,
Mhm.
but just shorten it because obviously
Yeah, time
for
factor.
this,
Yeah.
but I'll give you the full thing to
Mhm.
read after it. But here we go. Since that magical FA Cup replay on the 17th of Jan 2023,
Got the
we've been
teeth.
connected from that hip. We just got each other from that day one. Fast forward now, and he's still the same lad, determined to break the mould and carve his own path. The same one ringing me at 1 a.m. with this video idea or asking to film a TikTok. Behind the stupid idiot rage bait tweet is sometimes someone genuinely switched on, far sharper than he lets on. We've had disagreements like all good mates do, but truthfully, I don't know where I'd be without him. I said it to him when we won the league. Our paths were meant to be crossed in a romantic setting of Wolverhampton. I don't.
He's from Dudley, innit? So he's from nearby. That's why he calls Wolverhampton the romantic setting.
I don't say it enough, Greg, but thank you for being there when I needed someone most. Love you, my brother.
Oh, that's Ben. But obviously, basically, just for everyone listening as well, like, Ben's like me best mate. Like, he's like the lad that I'm going to basically make me best man the day I get married, type thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's him.
That's powerful to have
Do you get what I'm
somebody like
saying?
that.
That is him. So yeah.
hmm
Wow, that's
What's it like just to like, I always ask people this, but like to have somebody to say that and have that much to say about you, it's like,
Of
it's
course,
powerful.
it's obviously it's a special feeling, but you know, there's a reason why. It's too obvious if I get it for like me mum or me dad or like me bird or something. It's too obvious to make it them.
True.
But just make it like me best friend. You know, to be fair, as I say, you got it nailed on. To be fair, lad, like we just, first day we actually met each other was Wolves away in the FA Cup a while ago, and just became mates, just literally ever since. And I'd have days sometimes where I'd go down to Wolverhampton to see him, and he'd have days where he'd come to Liverpool, not even for the footy, he'd just go get a scran.
Yeah.
And obviously we've done loads of European trips together where we stayed, we've stayed in the same hotel room, obviously because we have to save a bit of dough or something. And we're around each other a lot. And, Ben was around for the worst time, and I've been around him for some of his worst times. And,
Having that backing from somebody else
yeah.
is
And,
lovely.
but the best thing about it is that, like, obviously it's not just Ben, it's our entire kind of group of mates that we've got. It's just Ben obviously sticks out for me because it's a case of like we became mates because of something that like is so like let's put it this way. Obviously, we wouldn't be mates if we both didn't support Liverpool, but
Which is
it both
crazy.
brought us to basically be mates and be best
Brought you
friends.
together,
And
didn't
yeah,
it?
and it's like
Like one similarity brought you
exactly.
together.
And it was just like because of that, we've just you know how do I say it? It's like because of that we've just become so connected, and because of that one unique thing that we happen to share, we felt like we just as we've gotten to know each other and as we've become closer as mates and all that, like we've started to realize the similarities between us and how well we work together in that sense. I mean, he even said it there, like he is like a brother to me as well.
I love the honesty though as
Yeah.
well. It's not all just like he's
You
this,
know.
he's that, he's this, he's
Yeah.
that. Like, I love the little bit of banter of, like, giving you a bit, and that it just shows,
Yeah.
like,
Like, obviously, you
teammates.
said it before, we've had our few little kind of,
Mhm,
you know, as all mates do, as
mhm,
all brothers do. You know,
mhm,
you'd have your little quabbles here and there, but as I said, at the end of the day, to be honest, like, I know for like, I know, like, right now, like, if I was to bell him the moment I
mhm.
leave this gaff, like, I could be on the phone with him for about 10 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And obviously, there's other people in my life that I could be like that as well
Mhm,
with, but it's just the fact that, like, because it was just such a random occurrence, like, that we just both happened to be sat next to each other at that game
mhm.
at that given time. Like,
Yeah.
it just, you know,
Paths
yeah,
Your
exactly.
paths crossed for
Yeah,
a reason,
exactly.
like you said.
And because
Definitely.
he's from and because he's not from Liverpool, he's
Mhm,
from Wolverhampton, or like Dudley,
mhm,
basically near Wolverhampton. It's like, it's not the same as like me mates who are from, like,
mhm.
I met in
Yeah.
college.
Mhm,
You know, I'm not saying they're any worse, I'm not saying they're any better, but it's just a different kind of like
mhm,
friendship.
definitely.
And well, I look at it anyway.
Mhm,
There's not, no, as I said, I don't value one friendship more than the other, but you know what I mean, to me, Ben's like, you know,
mhm. A
he's
top
such
mate of
a,
yours,
he's
yeah.
like, yeah, as I said, he's like the lad I'm, you know, to make
Mhm,
me best man the day I get married type thing. So to have him in my life, to have someone like that in my life, you
mhm.
know, I'm
It's only gonna
very, very
better you.
lucky, lad. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, I have a closing tradition on the
hmm
podcast, and the question, it's called The Walkway, and the question is, if somebody walked a day in your shoes,
hmm
what's one lesson they'd learn?
Oh, they'd learn that clothing brands don't make tall enough shoes, lads. Tall enough clothes and big enough shoes. That's what it is, yeah. Yeah, that's what they'd learn. The clothing brands need to fix up and start making longer gear for us, lad. Nah, yeah, genuinely, but
Yeah. I
in a
love
in a
that
in a
answer.
real life kind of sense, I'd say one thing people would learn if they walked in my shoes is that I'm not as serious as people make me out to be sometimes.
Mhm,
You know, I can have my serious moments. I can have my moments where, you know, I'm a bit taken by.
mhm,
But the overall sense of it is I'll find the joke out of pretty much anything I can make a joke out of.
mm,
Do you know what I mean? As long as the audience is there, I'll try and make the most serious situations as unserious as possible if it, you know, makes the mood
mhm,
better, if
mhm,
it makes someone laugh, if it can improve someone's day.
mhm,
You know, I think, you know, it's, in life, a lot of people are too serious about things that aren't meant to be serious.
mhm. Yeah.
And, you know, it kind of ruins the, kind of just it makes them a miserable person, really. You
Mhm,
know, it's one of them. Like, some people are just miserable because they make everything serious that don't have to be serious. And I'm
mhm,
like, you know, if you just walked an hour in my shoes, you'd realize like how unserious I can be at
mhm.
times.
Yeah.
You know, like, where the I'm trying to think now, like, walking down literally from the bus stop to here, just thinking to me, like, I'm just walking past a group of kids and
Mhm.
I just hear one of them go, "Oh, lad, like, are you answer who that is?" And I've just gone, "Oh, lad, I don't know, who is that?" Just said to it
Yeah.
back to him, do you know what I mean? Like, "Oh, no, who is
Yeah.
that? Who you know who that is?" And I've just kept on walking, do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, I'm not,
Nah, I love that though.
not taking it all with, like, you know,
But that just
no
shows you as
arrogance,
a
no kind of
person.
all that. It's just a case of just joking around
Mhm.
with people.
But that's you, isn't it? And
Yeah.
I see that, I can say that full hand, like, from having conversations with you and meeting you
hmm
and being over the text, the phone,
hmm
you do actually see, like, the true, and that is you, like, what you are on the camera, you are on in real
hmm
life, definitely. Well, all I can say is thank you very much. I can't wait for people to actually see, shall we say, a different side of you.
Yeah, I guess so.
See, like, you've got so much more length and so much more to talk about,
hmm
and yeah, I think it's been really inspiring, and like, I appreciate, and it's just so inspiring to see you being able to open up about challenging things on a deeper level and see the good, and actually just be open to
hmm
talk about tough times where, like, you were alone
hmm
and it was hard for you, and it shows that it's okay to go through them tough times, and we all do. So yeah, thank you for being
Nah,
open.
of course.
Uh,
Like, as I said
I've
though,
loved
like,
it.
the thing is about social media these days is that people are living fake lives.
Mhm.
And honestly, like, it's just a bit like, well, I'm alright, so I'll be, sometimes you just need to be honest about everything
Mhm.
and just say, look, lad, like, this is just the reality of it, no matter how harsh it may sound,
Mhm.
you know, and, there's nothing embarrassing about my story, really. It's just the truth. That's
Mhm.
just my story. That's just
Mhm.
what it is. Everyone has their own kind of, you know, journey to get to this point, this moment in time.
Mhm.
It's just one of them. Everyone's is different. There might be some similarities in that, but
Mhm. We all go through
there's no
different,
real
yeah.
shame in what you've gone through. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Mhm.
You just gotta take it in with your stride and just, you know, if it's if you've gone through a traumatic time
Mhm.
in the past, you know, as hard as it may sound, sometimes, you know, try and find some sort of positivity and, what build from it,
Mhm.
become a stronger person. So what I've tried to do with what, you
Mhm.
know, has happened to me, really, and, just being honest with
Mhm.
yourself. You can't, because to build on something, to build on yourself, you've got to make sure that you're honest with yourself first and
Mhm.
not being fake. So obviously, like, just be as real as you can,
Mhm.
especially on something like this where you are just talking about
Mhm.
life.
Mhm. Definitely. Well, yeah. As I said, I've loved it. I've loved getting to know you,
Thank
and
you for having me.
thank you very much for your time.
Woo!
Thank you.
That was incredible as well, Eric. Wow.